Hello everyone, welcome back to our chemistry class. So this is the part C of the subtopic Le Chatelier principle, and we will discuss the second type of disturbance, which is the change in temperature. So before we go further, let's discuss about the heat of reaction. Okay, so heat of reaction is the change in the enthalpy of chemical reaction. So there are two types of heat of reaction. The first one is endothermic reaction, and then the second one is exothermic reaction. So endothermic reaction is a reaction that absorbs heat from the surrounding. The enthalpy of the reaction is positive, meaning to say delta H is more than 0. The heat will be at the reactant site. Sebagai contohnya, kita ada chemical equation itu. So heat will be at the reactant site and the delta H will be positive value. Next, let's take a look at exothermic reaction. So exothermic reaction is a reaction that releases heat to the surrounding. Therefore, the enthalpy of reaction is negative, which is delta H is less than 0, and the heat will be at the product site. Sebagai contohnya, di situ ada tindak balas penghasilan PCl5. Okay, so sebab dia punya delta H adalah negatif, maka heat will be at the product site. So temperature change occurs when temperature is increased or decreased by the flow of heat. So the shift in chemical equilibria toward the products or reactant can be determined by studying the reaction and deciding whether it's endothermic or exothermic. So the change in temperature will give effect to the whole system. Therefore, it will change the value at equilibrium and also the equilibrium constant. So mari kita tengok penerangan berkaitan dengan change in temperature for endothermic reaction. So kita tahu kalau endothermic reaction, heat will be at the reactant site and then the delta H will be in positive value. So when we increase the temperature, the system will try to decrease the heat in the system sebab dia endothermic. Jadi apa yang akan berlaku? The system will shift to the side with no heat in order to counteract the increase in the temperature. So no heat sekarang ini berada di sebelah kanan persamaan tindak balas. So the equilibrium will shift to the right. So when the equilibrium is shift to the right, concentration of PCl3 and Cl2 will increase, but concentration of PCl5 will decrease. As a result, the value of equilibrium constant will also increase. Next example for endothermic reaction also, we know that for endothermic reaction, heat will be at the reactant site. So when we decrease the temperature, okay, the system will try to increase the heat in the system. Sebab dia rendahkan temperature, jadi sistem akan counteract untuk increase the system. So the system will shift to the side with heat in order to counteract the decrease in the temperature. So bila dia mau counteract, dia pergi kepada yang ada heat, jadi equilibrium will shift to the left. So bila equilibrium shift to the left, the concentration of PCl3 and Cl2 will decrease, but the concentration of PCl5 will increase. So bila ini berlaku, value of equilibrium constant also will decrease. Next, let's take a look at the exothermic reaction. So untuk exothermic reaction, delta H dia negatif and heat will be at the product site. Okay, so bila kita increase the temperature, what will happen? Increase, kita kena kasih decrease heat in the system. So itu system will shift to the side with no heat. in order to counteract the increase in temperature. So, the equilibrium will shift to the left. So, bila equilibrium shift to the left, concentration of PCl3 and chlorine will increase, okay, and the concentration of PCl5 will decrease. So, bila ini berlaku, the value of the Kc will decrease. And finally, for exothermic reaction, okay, so we know that heat will be at the product side. So when we decrease the temperature, system will try to increase the heat in the system. Jadi, sistem ini dia akan shift to the side with heat in order to counteract the decrease in the temperature. So what will happen? The equilibrium will shift to the right. So bila equilibrium ni shift to the right, concentration of PCl3 and Cl2 will decrease, but concentration of PCl5 will increase. So, the value of Kc will increase. Okay, so ini adalah summary untuk changes in temperature. So, first tips yang kamu kena tahu, kalau endothermic reaction, heat will be at the reactant side. And then kalau exothermic reaction, heat will be at the product side. So endothermic reaction dia punya enthalpy adalah positif, dan exothermic reaction enthalpy dia adalah negatif. So kenapa shifting itu berlaku? Okay, dia berlawanan dengan changes itulah. So kalau changes dia adalah increase in temperature, so shift to the right itu berlaku sebab kita mau decrease the temperature. Sama juga kalau changes yang berlaku adalah decrease in temperature, so reason for the equilibrium shift adalah untuk increase the temperature. So itu adalah cara untuk hafal. Satu lagi, kalau changes atau disturbance dia adalah increase in temperature, so equilibrium shift will move away from the heat. Tapi kalau changes atau disturbance dia adalah decrease in temperature, okay, the equilibrium shift will move towards the heat. Okay, so itu sahaja untuk video kali ini guys. So kita akan sambung dalam video yang seterusnya. Take care and have a nice day. Bye-bye.